So tonight we're going to talk about abuse and control and how both can be two sides of the same coin. Which is not an easy subject to talk about because abuse can be emotional, it can be physical, it can be sexual, it can be between adults, it can be perpetrated by men or women or even children. Even on social media, there can be abuse by the comments that people leave. And I think also the silent treatment is a form, can be a form of abuse. But before I begin, I wanted to thank all of you for the comments that you have sent, for the questions, and I will try and include them tonight. If I don't, please remind me. I wanted to say that it is people who are abusive, not necessarily one sex is more abusive than the other. And abuse is something, very briefly, when it impinges on your own space, on your own freedom, on your own liberty, on your own self-respect, and so on. It's not exclusively to men. It's not exclusively to adults. Children can be abusive. I remember when I was in England, I was on the bus and I was listening to this teenage girl talking to her girlfriend, saying how she manipulates her father by blackmailing him emotionally and using abusive language so that she can milk his wallet for all she can. She actually said that. She said, I have him around my finger like a ring. Stunned. I was stunned how young, innocent children can be abusive. I am not going to talk about why people abuse. It's a huge topic. My own personal philosophy is to inspire and empower. I do that with my clients. I do that with myself. I think once you start going into somebody's head, you know, what do they think of me? Why are they doing this? You will get lost. It's a dark, complicated place. So stick to yourself. And the reason that I say that, and I have 4 tips for you today, the reason that I say that is because, number 1, abusive is not personal. Don't take it personally. People who are abusive will be abusive, whether with you or with someone else. And this is like really important to recognize, because I think, here are some of the comments. So some client sent me this comment saying, I used to, or rather a follower, I used to abuse drugs, everything, and now I have control not to abuse it, which is interesting. So they have linked control and abuse. Another comment was, abuse and control works together, my dear. When they have control, the abuse starts. Obviously, this is by a female, which can happen. If somebody is power hungry and crazy, it can happen to start abusing other people just because they can. I have another comment here. Just give me a chance to find it. Is it this one? Very nice topic. I feel it in social media, actually. Followers are abusing us sometimes. This came from an influencer. And I had suggested, if followers are abusive, to block them immediately. I mean, you don't even want to go there. You don't want to be nice. And I really feel that if someone is damaged goods, they're damaged goods. There is nothing that you can do. Another follower asked, good morning, Sahar, why do we tend to abuse and control? Is it to feel secure? I think it is more than that. People who like to control in general, you know, like to control the children, where they're going, where they're doing, that's different. I'm really talking about abuse in terms of controlling the other person. That is extreme behavior. That is distorted behavior. Usually, if we go back to their childhood, maybe there's something there. But never mind that, you are 50% of the equation, and you need to focus on you, what you can do, what behavioral steps you can change, because it's almost like dance partners. If you change 50% of the steps, then the other person will have to change their steps as well. This is from another follower. She said, I lived with a narcissist for 25 years. He made me feel insecure, to have control. Can I move this window? No, we can't move this window. He used my children as a leverage so that I could obey his wishes. She wanted to get away for 6 years. She's away now. She says, I'm almost there. The only question is, How did I let it go on for so long? I wouldn't even go there because you've done it. You need to congratulate yourself that you're out of that relationship. You've had 6 years now to build your life, which is absolutely incredible. And every time you think, why did I wait that long? Put a flag there in your mind, distance yourself from that past, and see it as a victory flag and say, thank God I'm no longer there. I think you need to enforce the positive, then remember the negative. Don't go into the other person's head, because as I said, it's a messy place. You need to go into your head. You need to understand what are your patterns. And you know, when an abusive person says, oh, you made me do it, I would change that and I would say, you allowed me to do it. And I think we need to look at ourselves. Hey, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Thank you for following. You need to ask yourself, what is it within me that is allowing me, why are you putting up with it? Yeah. So this is my advice number 1. There we are. So the first thing is, don't take it personally, because it isn't. It is about the person being slightly damaged, having distorted behavior. They are the person who needs therapy. You need to learn how to correct your behavior. You need to ask yourself, why are you tolerating it? And remember, although they're trying to control the situation, you are 50% of the equation. So they are not really in control because you are 50%. And to be in control, one needs to have more than 50%, right? So try and remember that. You still have equal footing, but you need to ask yourself, why am I putting up with it? Because there must be a reason. If you have vulnerabilities, what can you do about them? Men and women put up with abuse for different reasons. I know a man who was verbally abused by his wife, who kept threatening him, I'll divorce you, I'll take the children away, and he put up with the situation, didn't try to improve things because he was so afraid to lose them. Equally, a client of mine called me once from overseas. I was in London, and she said that her husband used to beat her up every night. And I said, well, every day, not necessarily at night. And I said, what do you do when he does that? She said, I just stand there, I freeze until he's done. And I asked her, I said, did you ever think of leaving the room, going somewhere, bathroom or bedroom, and locking the door behind you? And she said, no. So mark or become aware of your boundaries, mark your boundaries. If you have a vulnerability, I'll put them in Arabic. If you have a vulnerability, you need to ask yourself, how can I make myself stronger to prepare for my next platform? Something else a lot of parents ask me is, I'm staying there for my children. I think this can be really negative for the children. Children, especially young children, are more resilient than we think they are. And if they're gonna grow up in an abusive environment, they're gonna see that as acceptable behavior. And if one of the parents put up with this, they're gonna grow up thinking it is okay to put up with abuse, and they're gonna sacrifice themselves and their happiness in order not to have any conflict with their partner. You cannot change people. It is not your job to change people, but our job is to personally work on ourselves. We are responsible to improve our patterns. It's not like, I see that as a distortion in behavior rather than, I need psychotherapy. Probably the abuser needs psychotherapy, but what you can do if you're reasonably well adjusted is to correct what has been missing. Boundaries, most importantly, is why are you allowing it? And once you find out why you're allowing it or tolerating it, that would probably be your Achilles heel. So try and build your next platform. Where is your weakness? No job, no money, what is it? Then you put a plan in your mind and you work on that plan. And certainly one of my clients has done it. She couldn't believe it when I first told her in the States that, her husband will not change. She told me 2 days ago that she was disappointed, but actually it turned out right. So she planned her escape, so to speak, from the situation. And she's a lot happier now. And I am sure that man, if he doesn't want to correct his behavior, he's gonna go on abusing. So don't go into the other person's head, focus on yourself, understand you are 50% of the equation, and if you change your tune, so would the other person. And gradually, I will not say that things will improve, but gradually you will feel empowered to take the steps that you need in order to move forward with your life. I had actually prepared a very nice diagram, I can't find it now, about two people and what happens in a, oh there it is, fantastic, and what happens in a relationship. So do you see, I just use men and women. As I said earlier, I don't think men are more abusive than women. Both can be just as abusive because it's people who have distorted patterns. But I just represented, two opposites. We have a person in the yellow circle, and then we have a person in the brown circle. And where they meet, which is the orange kind of sector, that is what you exchange in a relationship. So even if you are in an abusive relationship, that arc in the center is what is involved, but you still have the rest for you to look after, to nurture, to fortify, to enforce. So remember that it's not like somebody has taken control over your life. Control is about power. Abuse is about distorted pattern, in my experience, in my humble opinion. People who are controlling are not necessarily abusive, but people who are abusive would try to control. And the reason they would try to control is not to acknowledge that they have a destructive pattern. It's very hard work when you face yourself in the mirror, when you don't like the person that you see in the mirror, really hard work. And many of us would rather go on going on the way they're going on than to say, okay, this is my fault. I need to look into why am I being abusive. Another client of mine had, she was really in love and she thought she had chosen the right man to marry. I don't know, they had an argument. She was very dramatic, threw a thing at her partner, a brush or something, and then he hit her, like, whoa. And, like, you made me do it. Okay, but, I did tell her there was no reason to be dramatic because every action would escalate the other. But the basic thing, the underlying thing, is that there is unhappiness. And if you are in an unhappy relationship or friendship, because people abuse their friends, as I said, children abuse their parents, you need to look at why am I tolerating it? What are my weaknesses? How can I fortify them? Apart from self-esteem and self-worth and the rest of it, I think at the bottom of it is really fear, moving away from the familiar and starting something new. And what I've noticed that happens is people will hit rock bottom, and then when they can no longer tolerate it, they would leave a relationship because they just can't take it anymore. But if you wait long enough for this abuse, before you leave it, it will affect your psyche, it will probably even affect your well-being and your health, and it doesn't need to be that way. I try to personally simplify things. When I start thinking and going around in circles, I stop myself and I say, okay, am I enjoying this? And if the answer is no, then get out. Don't lie to yourself. You can just be truthful with yourself, and this is when change would start in a very real way. You will feel much more empowered physically. If it's a physically abusive relationship, physically, geographically move out of the room. There is nothing that they can do. And I don't want to go into technicalities, but according to the country that you're in, check what the laws are, know what your rights are. This is all logical stuff. I'm here talking about how can you shift from victim mentality into an empowered designer of the life that you wish for. Sometimes what I mean by we allow things to happen is we could have kind of loose patterns, negative matter, like I'm too good, I can't leave, or I'm too generous, I keep, buying her gifts or whatever. You're not gonna get any brownie points for that. Again, that is extreme behavior. Even if you think you're too loving, you're too generous, you're too calm, anything which is too on either side of the line is out of balance. And this is when emotions, actions, and mind get out of alignment, and this is when problems start happening. So watch out what you think of yourself. You know, focus on yourself and don't think that you're too nice, too good, that you're avoiding conflict, that you're peaceful. No, you're just tolerating an abusive relationship. All right, guys, so I'm sorry, that's all I have for you tonight. Let me know if you have found this inspirational or helpful in any way. It's a big topic, but at least if you keep these 4 points in your mind, it might help you shift your perspective on abuse and on what you can do. And remember, I'm here for you. If you want me to help you in any other way, please take the online assessment. It's in my bio, the link is in my bio. Send it over, and you know that you have a 40-minute complimentary discovery session with me. I'll be more than happy to go over your assessment with you, figure out where the problem is, where you are stuck, and how I can help. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you again for joining me. Bye-bye.